Starting out on Friday, the first game. Yes, Friday game this week. Pac-12 matchup. Isaac, why don't you tell us what it is?
All right, folks. Our first game for Week 4 is on Friday night at 9 p.m. It is 10th-ranked Utah on the road playing against 19th-ranked Oregon State. Now, Utah obviously coming off a really close game against UCLA in which they won 14-7. Without the likes of Cam Rising, the question still becomes, when will we see him again this year for the Utes? It's a $1 million question we've asked since Week 1 when they played Florida. I do not know. Oregon State coming off a really close game to Washington State. Of course, you guys saw us pick that game last week. Washington State, their offense, they ended up coming out with a dub. Only by 3, though. It was a high-scoring game, 30-plus points for each team. Utah is trying to hang on and stay in the top 10, while Oregon State is trying to just stay ranked. Obviously, Utah potentially being in the top 10 is in the running for a playoff spot, of course, if they can make a run for the Pac-12 later on in the year. The ESPN FPI has Oregon State at 58%. Obviously, they're the home team, and the spread has Oregon State by 3. So that's not too far off, just over halfway for the Beavers, and a 3-point spread. Joey, you're picking first. Who you got?
No, I don't agree with the spread. I don't agree with the FPI. I think Utah wins this. I think this is the first real defense that DJ faces and the Oregon State offense faces. I think although Washington State has a decent defense, they're mainly offense. Utah is all defense right now. Offense really hasn't had it going. Again, Cam Rising, when is he going to return? Is he even real? Who knows, man? I got Utah winning. Yeah, no.
Man, I made some notes. I didn't get to watch the Utah-UCLA game, but I got to watch a little bit of the Oregon State-Washington State game, and let me tell you, Washington State, I think they might be the real deal in the Pac-12 this year. That might have been the dark horse that I should have picked up in our dark horse series. Utah's defense, man, they are stout. Utah won 14-7, and one of those touchdowns, it came off a pick six on the first play, on UCLA's first drive of the game, their first play of the game. Utah's offensive line, they look good. They help open up the run game, which is going to be really important here. The problem is their offensive scheme, it's just too conservative right now. And maybe it's because of the lack of Cam Rising. I don't know. But I see screen pass after screen pass and short throw after short throw. They're going to have bigger plays against Oregon State. Like, obviously, they do make big plays, but it's just not enough. The rating of, like, they do these many, short plays versus this little of big plays. They're going to have to come up with something explosive, big runs, big throws downfield. Because then you look at, their one offensive score, Utah only got one offensive touchdown in the entire game. The only point scored in the second half was the UCLA touchdown. So that tells you everything you need to know about their defense, but their offense, because I don't know. I don't think UCLA's defense is that good. Oregon State secondary, they're garbage. Go back and look at how many freaking passes that were completed when they were right there that they could have, made a play on the ball. And I mean, every single completion. It was insane, man. And the other thing is they just don't do a good job of finishing tackles. I mean, there were so many yards given up after the catch, and like I said, they're right there. They have to finish. Uiagalelei still making silly mistakes. Sorry, Joey, but definitely better than he was at Clemson, but it's still just a struggle. The Oregon State run game, though, that's like the thing that's really solid. Almost every single touchdown that Oregon State had against Washington State was a running touchdown. I think they had one passing touchdown from Uiagalelei. So if the Utah defense continues their reign of terror, this could be a super long day for the Beavers. I got Utah. Utah, this is easy. I don't think that the Beavers are going to be able to do anything. Yeah, I mean, like Washington State, but their defense isn't that great, right? It was 38-35. Utah was able to hold UCLA, who has a pretty potent offense, still young but potent, to 7 points the entire game. I got the defense winning this one. They play complementary football. Oregon State's not coming out on top. I got Utah.
I definitely think Oregon State will look the best uniform-wise, though.
I was going to make a smart comment about uniforms, but considering how well Oregon looked and played last weekend, I'm not going to. So, yeah, this one to me is also pretty self-explanatory. Utah, as a program, I was looking back at last season, when they beat USC, not once, but twice. And the second time, considerably by 3 touchdowns. Utah is a really good defensive team. I like them to pull off the upset this weekend. I think they'll cover. I like the Utes by 7. I think they'll go on the road and get the win, and they'll retain their top 10 spot. Meanwhile, the Beavers probably going to fall out. But I also did forget until Joey mentioned it a while ago that DJ was at Oregon State. Either way, I got the Utes. That's another TBD triple pick.